Hii ni blanket.
Najisikia rasmi sasa hapo Mara. Kuna moja waziri kasbi. Kutoa hii. Oh.
Updating the map this year, we are going to include the additional 3 conservancies that are coming up. So this is the Serengeti down here. This is the Masai Mara National Reserve. All this you see, the conservancies movement started here in the Mara. The area under conservation has doubled. So we have 1,500 square kilometers here. The community conservancy currently are covering an areas that we're currently having a lot of challenges. This is sort of like defining our vision where we want to focus going forward. The later forest is somewhere this side, and actually our vision is to build a conservancy, a great challenge to the ecosystem. We have Talek Center here, kind of right at the board of the reserve and at the board of the conservancy.
Mchungaji yote ama mtu yote volunteer. Ina uchini wa mic vizuri. Oh, good. Karibu Benson Reson. From Masagra, you feel welcome. KWCA.
But this can also, you can help us to fast track this one so that they can also be gazetted. We are aware about the process and the step that has also been made in developing a Masai Mara National Reserve management plan. It is our wish and request if that can also be fast tracked, so that as we work on coming up with an ecosystem, able to recognize the effort that has been made in community conservation. We have over 3,500 community rangers across the country. And we really appreciate that despite of your very busy schedule, you actually created time to come and officiate this very important activity for us in the here today. Jambo. Good morning. Wildlife destination globally, there's so much that we can really be proud of. But Waziri, the reason why we are here today, we are here because of two things. We are here because of the achievement USAID, and I really want to recognize their presence for being here, because it's actually one of the partners that have really worked with us since the beginning in 2015 to date.
Happy DG, before I figure, because we are also the owners of the farm. Yeah.
We are committing this guy.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I also want to have the chair and the DG. Masisi wote tuko nyuma na commitment. So, makofi ya kilo. Thank you very much. Yeah. So the process has started officially. It's now our responsibility.
I thought you are doing things behind my back. That's why when you write letters to Boynet and you think I can't get to know, I'm the boss of the ministry. But because Boynet is well-trained civil servant, he knows hierarchy. Yeah? And as correctly said, this is so important to government about management plans, organization of the ecosystem and conservation, the biodiversities in this country. How do we plan it better? And just last month, we were in Amboseli, and we launched the Amboseli Ecosystem Management Plan. And before December, it was in December, before the first week of January, I gazetted the management plan for the ecosystem in Amboseli. And not only Amboseli alone, even the national park itself, we made our management plan for Amboseli National Park, and it was gazetted concurrently. So there is no conflict between the park and the ecosystem in the area, because all of them interdepend on their coexistence. And that's why here, I've come here, maybe this is the 5th time to Masai Mara. I've come just to make sure that Masai Mara is a jewel of conservation, of wildlife safari, of tourism, but of this country. And also is a jewel for the Masai people. And the Masai people have done everything possible to protect this jewel and to do conservation and save our wildlife and our heritage, natural heritage. But now it's taken 10 years. You know, I've been in this ministry for 11 years. It is 10 years since 2008. And the chairman, Umesema Ivo, now the Sapia. Yeah, we wanted a management plan 10 years ago. Brian Heath, you mentioned that. 2008, when I just became the Minister for Tourism, I wasn't wildlife, but tourism was important for me. 2016, you revised it. Last year when I was here, and we had the best promotion for Magical Kenya and for residents in this country when the world was locked down. And we brought you Kenyans to support Masai Mara. And we did even a live Zoom meeting with the president, and to commit that we are going to have a management plan by end of August, 31st of August 2020. We are now going to the end of February. There is no management plan for the reserve. You know, county government, I want to tell you, you don't do the management plan for me. You do it for yourselves, for this ecosystem. I really plead with the county government. If we don't do the management plan for Masai Mara Reserve, it will die and we will regret it. Because overdevelopment is what kills the reserve. Overgrazing will kill even the conservancies. That model of the conservancies where they coexist with communities, that is the model we support. But it has to be planned for. It has to be organized. Me, I don't want to conserve our natural heritage of wildlife for tourists to come and take pictures only. and people around it languish in poverty. Me, I want to conserve the natural heritage, not only to get tourists, but also the community to benefit from tourism and from wildlife. That's why we are changing even the wildlife policy and the Wildlife Act to accommodate all forms of revenue generation to sustain communities and conservation in this country. We can't allow conservation or landowners to conserve and to be spectators and not to benefit from tourism and from conservation. And these management plans are very important. That's why today I insisted. It was supposed to be yesterday because you are aware that we had a cabinet meeting, but we said today we will do it. And that's why today this process, this planning process is crucial. And I want it, Daniel, you must tell me what are your timelines and when are you finishing it. And I can gazette it immediately so that we can be able to safeguard this jewel. Let's work together, especially now when we have a policy coming in and we want it to be reviewed. Please, let's all give our views constructively. Let's give our views to see how best we coexist and we benefit from it. But also, I am very cognizant of the challenges the conservancies are going through, and that's why the government has allocated 2 billion to support conservancies. 2 billion, not 1 billion. 1 billion was 2020, 2021. Another billion is 2021, 2022. And truly, if we work together and we share responsibility, this will be a permanent phenomena in government by funding those community rangers. But we need to share responsibility and liability at the same time. Today, what's the biggest challenge we have in this country in wildlife conservation is human-wildlife conflict. Human-wildlife conflict, we must share responsibility. And when a chairman, I need a dialogue on this. If there's an incident in a conservancy must share responsibility, not government alone. I think this is a dialogue we need. Not necessarily the issue of payment only, but the issue of coming with solutions. Mkiwachia serikali itashindwa na nyinyi mtapata hasara. So tuungane, tushirikiane. Bwana Boynet, you are the one in charge of human-wildlife conflict. You and Dr. Kanga. I want you to have a meeting with the conservancies. Dixon, you are here. I want a solution and taking responsibility from the conservancies on human-wildlife conflict. Because we cannot allow people are suffering because of conflicts, and then the government doesn't have money to pay. It takes 5 years for you to be compensated as a victim. It's not fair. It's not fair. But again, government cannot fund everything. We need to talk about how do we get funding done in the appropriate manner of Masai Mara ecosystem and Masai Mara as a tourism product. This we cannot. The minute we allow Masai Mara to die, tourism will die in this country. And that's why we have a responsibility, both in national government, county government, and the private sector and the conservancies, to make sure Masai Mara does not go down to the drains and allow the chaos. In fact, all this chaos you see at Talek, at Sekanani, at all these big settlements, I don't think the answer is to relocate them and erase them. The answer is to reorganize them so that they can benefit and wildlife conservation can benefit. I don't believe in displacement. I don't believe in erasing things. I believe in actually accommodating. But we must be smart. And I think, sini munajua kizungu mingi, mumesoma. Bas, we can become smart and do things right. But the way we are doing things in a chaotic manner, handling crisis every time, I think that would not be a good solution. I'm happy that I'm here today. And I've seen that this process has started, and we need a deadline when, so that we can save the situation. County government, we are counting on you. We need that management plan that is at the assembly to be approved so that we can be able to gazette it and safeguard this jewel. I want to also encourage you and congratulate you the MOU you are doing with Francis here. I think this is a wonderful, wonderful partnership. If it happens very soon, yeah, I am ready to be present when that MOU is signed. Yeah? And probably when we sign that MOU, we can be able to also to gazette the management plan for the reserve.
In this memorable occasion, where the journey of developing the first ecosystem plan for the greater Mara ecosystem is beginning. It's a genesis, it's the beginning of a brand new day in that ecosystem. This ecosystem faces various threats which, if not addressed quickly, might lead to irreversible degradation of the wildlife and habitats of this ecosystem. So, it is really timely that this ecosystem planning that we're initiating today is going to address the threats therein. As you are aware, the Kenya Wildlife Service has functions which include coordinating, preparing, and the implementation of ecosystem plans and assisting and advising community and private wildlife conservancies and sanctuaries in the preparation of management plans. Consequently, the Kenya Wildlife Service has been providing planning technical assistance through the Directorate of Biodiversity Research and Planning to the Mara conservancies in the development and gazettement of individual conservancy plans, in which 5 conservancy management plans for the Mara have been gazetted. With the transfer of the biodiversity research and planning functions to the newly established Wildlife Research and Training Institute, the service will continue to closely work with the Institute to provide technical assistance to prepare and gazette management plans for all Mara conservancies, as this will enhance professionalism and accountability in the management of wildlife resources. At this juncture, allow me to acknowledge our partners in the Mara ecosystem for establishing a robust network of community wildlife scouts that have hugely complemented our human-wildlife conflict management efforts in the greater Masai Mara ecosystem. The community wildlife scouts have ensured that our outposts receive human-wildlife conflict incident reports in a timely fashion, reducing incident response time. The plan, therefore, should include this framework as part of the human-wildlife conflict mitigation strategy in the ecosystem. In addition, our collaboration with the Mara conservation stakeholders include the national security agencies that have enhanced wildlife security in the ecosystem. And the Deputy County Commissioner actually mentioned that extensively. And our collaboration with them goes on and is constant. Finally, I'm grateful to Mara stakeholders for their continued support and dedication to conservation despite the many challenges, as mentioned by Mr. Supia, facing the wildlife tourism industry as a consequence also of COVID-19. We appreciate your unwavering commitment to conservation. As Kenya Wildlife Service, we will provide all the necessary support within our means to ensure that we walk this conservation journey together with you.
All right, so my name's Daniel Sopia. I work for Masai Mara Wildlife Conservancies Association as the Chief Executive Officer. We are here today at Masai Mara Conservancies headquarters in Aitong in Masai Mara. Today was a big day for us. We are actually launching the process of starting and development of the ecosystem management plan for the Masai Mara. We have done so many management plans for the individual conservancies. The county government of Narok is also working to establish and develop the management plan for the game reserve. And together now with the county government of Narok, MMWCA, the conservancies, other stakeholders, and Kenya Wildlife Service, we are actually today marking the beginning of a process to develop the Masai Mara ecosystem management plan. This plan is going to address some of the major threats that are facing this landscape. We are aware about the unprecedented human population growth that is bringing so much pressure on land. It's leading to land subdivision, privatization, land sales, and other fragmentation such as fencing. And this is what we really hope that the plan is actually going to address such social challenges.
So maybe tell us maybe the coverage of the whole area you're targeting, and actually how many conservancies. You also spoke about some of the conservancies maybe gazetted, their plans gazetted and everything.
Yeah. So the way this process starts is that in law, each and every protected area, including now conservancies and reserves, are actually supposed to come up with a management plan for those individual conservancies. We have already done about 14 individual management plans for the respective conservancies in the Mara, of which 5 of those 14 management plans, 5 already has been gazetted by the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife. In terms of the ecosystem management plan, this will encompass the Masai Mara National Reserve, the area currently covered by the existing conservancies, and other potential areas for growth. And this is also determined by the extent of the wildebeest migration and also the elephant movement in the landscape. So that's that's actually the extent and the geographical scope of the plan.
Some of the threats maybe you brought out is the growing towns.
Yeah.
And actually some solution for it. Maybe what are these?
Yeah. So some of the threats actually include some of these are social challenges. We're talking about the Mara is an area that land has been subdivided, so it's privately owned by thousands and individuals, landholders of small sizes. They have the absolute use. We have seen issues whereby 100 pieces of land is being sold and is subdivided into small plots of 50 by 100. That's where we have a number of these unregulated mushroomist centers coming up, which is a bigger threat to the ecosystem in terms of blocking wildlife migratory corridors and